I just sent out the Zoom link, so just bear with us. Okay, let me bring Leslie's profile up and just share with you who she is. I call her my boss. She's very uncomfortable when I call her my boss, but she is my boss. Okay, so what you don't know about this woman is she's a workaholic, and she is thoroughly good at what she does. I've learned so much from her in such a short period that she's been president. Okay, Leslie Morris, business analyst by trade, collaborative entrepreneur at heart, a passionate leader focused on cultivating an environment where continuous learning is the heartbeat, calling forward everyone's greatest potential. She currently serves as a product owner for Scrum.org. In case you don't know, LEARNTOR is a professional training network member of Scrum.org, and she's the product owner. Let me end it at that. In addition to exploring our intersection of professional development and community building for Scrum.org, she enjoys hosting Women in Agile podcasts. What she means there, she is the president of Women in Agile, where I sit on the board as well. She has completed organization and relationship system coaching, OSC, and this is a hard one to pass, I know, because Erin Randall is one as well, and training through CCR Global, and currently becoming an OSC certified coach. I want to say thank you so much, Leslie, for making time to be here. You have the screen to share. Let us know as much. Then I will now bring on Liz Morris. It was quite fascinating when I scheduled Liz for the session.
Yes.
Leslie Morris and Liz Morris. I thought, what an oxymoron, you know? So I'm very excited about tonight, and hopefully everyone will get to learn something. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Mercy. Although I am trying to share screen and it says I cannot do screen sharing while other participants are sharing. So I'm not sure who else is screen sharing.
It was me. I was playing music before now.
Ah.
I've stopped it. Okay.
Excellent. There we go. So desktop 2 should be coming up. Do you see my cover slide?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Great. Mercy, thank you for the very warm welcome. Fanny, Abigail, Nadia, the rest of the WIA Africa organizing team. Thank you for all of the hard work, dedication, passion, and commitment you've shown not only to the Women in Agile mission, but specifically to bringing the Women in Agile mission into Africa and helping us bring greater diversity to this global community. I'm excited to be with you here as the closing session on your day one of the WIA Africa 2023 conference, to really just talk to you about what it means to be part of Women in Agile org. And through this, we'll cover a little of the origin story. A lot of times people don't know how Women in Agile got started. We will thank our very generous supporters that enable events like this and all of our impact programs to be possible. And then we'll talk about those impact programs. As Mercy mentioned in the intro, by not listening in on this session, you might be missing out on something. And this is really about awareness, because through awareness and each of us shining the light of what the Women in Agile mission really means, it creates opportunities for everyone to get involved. And sometimes that means finding new jobs. Sometimes that means getting the right mentor to help get a promotion. Sometimes that means completely changing your career. All sorts of wonderful different testimonials of the members from the WIA community. So we'll get into a lot of that today. And I promise I won't take too much of your time. I know y'all have been going for many, many hours on end. So 2023 is really a special year. In a lot of ways, it celebrates the 10-year anniversary of the original spark that ignited the global Women in Agile movement. In Las Vegas in 2023 at the Scrum Gathering, there was a Women in Scrum open space session on that final day. And I'd say there were maybe 30 or 40 people there. Lonnie was a key convener in that. Lisa Adkins was there, many other people. And it was really the work that Natalie Warner, Lisa, and then I was early involved after that open space session that launched what we know today. The work Natalie Warner, our founding president, did in her master's thesis around gender diversity or lack thereof in the global Agile community really laid the bedrock for creating this organization and spinning up a mission around trying to make a difference and trying to change things. And so the impact programs that we originally launched with got started around the 2016 timeframe. But what really started putting us on the map and allowing us to draw attention to this cause was partnership and support from the Agile Alliance. So since 2016, there has been a half-day event prior to the big Agile conference in the United States each year. And that's been the longest standing opportunity for women and Agile members to gather, really from a worldwide perspective, because that Agile Alliance event does draw such a large group. And then now over the years, we've had, the WIA Europe event, we've got the WIA Africa event, and others that are looking to create similar conferences that bring our members together. We were in the US registered as a 501c3, which is a not-for-profit organization in the US in 2018. And that was really sort of like, we feel like we've really made it, which was a very exciting time. A lot of that would not have been possible without the support from Agile Alliance. They've been a fantastic supporter and really original sponsor of our organization. They are very generous with the space and opportunities that they give us for that event every year. And with that, they're also our conference allyship program sponsor. And their original support and the work that we all did together let us launch at the beginning 3 impact programs: local communities, conference allyship, and launching new voices. This was really the foundation for how we wanted to bring greater diversity and inclusion to the community. Find opportunities where women who live geographically in a similar space can get together, learn from each other, and help amplify their careers and opportunities. Conference allyship really centered around creating safe spaces where women felt like they could participate without, being harassed or marginalized or bullied or anything else by other attendees, making sure there were safe spaces for that. So code of conduct was a really big piece of it. There was also a lot of research done around the diversity of speaker lineups at conferences. And since then, there are very few conferences that have no, she, her pronoun representation at all, right? We see so much more equality and sort of distribution of men and women speaking at conferences, which is great. But we realize, gender is not limited to that. And are we creating opportunities for everyone's identity to really be present in events? So our work is not done. And then launching new voices, that third original impact program, which you all got to experience earlier today, where we give opportunities for first-time speakers. We think of them as proteges. They get paired with a mentor and take the stage for the first time at a conference and get that opportunity to speak. And we've had launching new voices proteges go from speaking at something like the day before the Agile Alliance conference, now many years later, keynoting at smaller conferences and other sorts of things. So launching new voices has proven to be a great launch pad for people. Since that original founding of the organization, we have launched 3 additional impact programs. That is our scholarship program, which currently runs twice annually. The Women in Agile podcast, which Mercy alluded to in my introduction. We've got a team there. And then a mentorship program, which is our newest impact program to launch. We'll talk about each of these just a little bit more with opportunities to get involved with them. but none of these programs would be possible if it wasn't for the support of our sponsors. So TD Bank, right, they are North America based. They are the current Women in Agile title sponsor. Their generosity has made a lot of things possible for our organization. Dean and Becky Leffingwell, you might know Dean's name from Scaled Agile framework. He was the chief methodologist and originator of all things safe. He and his wife have been incredibly generous from the very beginning, specifically when you look towards our scholarship program and helping us really get a fund built so that we could begin offering scholarships for people. And then 5 of our 6 impact programs have sponsors as well. You saw Shannon in this last panel from IC Agile. They are the sponsor for our mentorship program. We talked about scrum.org a few minutes ago. That's where my day job happens to be. They are the sponsor for our podcast program. Scaled Agile sponsors our scholarship program. Helping Improve, which is a consultancy that helps organizations improve based in the US. They are our Launching New Voices sponsor. And then, as I mentioned, Agile Alliance and Conference Allyship. So thank you. If you're a representative of one of these organizations here, we appreciate you as Women in Agile so much. You help make our organization possible. Conference Allyship. So we'll talk just a little bit more about that. This event, Women in Agile Africa, right, 2nd year running, wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for our Conference Allyship program. I'll get really, really clear. Women in Agile org, the nonprofit entity, is not in the conference organizing business. But what we are is in the business of providing financial support and guidance to passionate and committed groups of conference organizers that want to host events just like this one, or just like the one coming up in Europe in a few weeks, that's going to be an in-person event. So we provide support for those. Sometimes it looks like a standalone event like this, or sometimes it looks like a bolt-on to a larger conference like we see with Agile Alliance, or sometimes it just looks like a dedicated Women in Agile breakfast that you often see at the SAFE Summit that Scaled Agile hosts each year. But as I mentioned, safety around creating a space where everyone can fully engage at conferences and events was a big part of conference allyship and continues to be. So that was rooted in code of conduct, not only developing our own Women in Agile code of conduct, but doing outbound engagement to conference organizers to ensure that codes of conduct are a staple for all events that are created. And looking for greater representation so that it is not, we don't want any given conference or event to be homogeneous where everybody all looks the same. And diversity means different things to different groups depending on where the conference is. And so helping people really think about that, not only when putting together their conference planning team, but also their speaker lineups and their content strategies for those events. And then, as I mentioned, the sponsorship support, so providing financial support and other resources for conference organizers so they can put events on. There's not a lot of direct member engagement. So those of you that are here as Women in Agile members, to get hands-on involved in conference allyship beyond from like a volunteer perspective to work on the program, or if you're interested in organizing a conference or some other event, reaching out and working with us to gain that support and guidance on doing that. But this isn't as much a direct to member, it's sort of a indirect to member impact program, because the event conference organizers are the ones that really create those impactful experiences for you, just like Fanny and Abigail and Nadia and Mercy and the rest of the team have done for you all here with WIA Africa. So there are volunteer opportunities to get involved with our conference allyship program, and we'll tell you how to do that at the end of this presentation. Next one, Launching New Voices, sponsored by Helping Improve. As I mentioned, you got to see this in action earlier today. And this is really just about creating those developmental opportunities, breaking the ice, you might say, because getting that very first speaking gig is often the hardest part. But once you've done it the first time, then you have something on your resume. Because so many call for papers at conferences ask for that history of where have you presented in the past. And so by getting something like Launching New Voices on your resume, it gives you something to show. The majority of our Launching New Voices sessions are also recorded. You can get access to that footage and say, yeah, this is what I've done. You can actually see me here. When people come to Women in Agile and they're looking for speakers, we refer them first to all of our Launching New Voices alumni. So getting involved in this program really can happen in one of three ways. It's volunteering to be on the program team that helps coordinate Launching New Voices events, which is like the segment you saw earlier today. Or you might actually get involved as a protege. So every time there's a Launching New Voices event, we do a call for papers. Typically, that is somewhere between 10 to 15 weeks before the actual conference event. There'll be about a month where you can submit a topic and a little bit about you. So we select the proteges that will be the new voices featured at that event. And then you can also volunteer as a mentor. So say you're someone who's already spoken at conferences and you want to help pass that knowledge on and help get the next generation of speakers prepared to take the stage. We're always looking for mentors to get involved to work with our new voices. So that's a little bit about LNV. In a lot of ways, it's one of my most favorite programs because there's nothing like being in the room when you see that person, you've talked to them, earlier in the day and they're nervous. They're like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. And then they get up on stage, their mentor introduces them and they just kill it. They do such a great job in the confidence building that goes on to that. And the audiences are always so gracious and supportive. It really is it's a joy to get to see those moments. And then we've got seeding local communities, right? More than 18,000 members of our local communities globally. That is almost 40 groups across 16 countries. You'll notice here, there are very few red dots in Africa though. So this is like a primary call to action for all of you here at WIA Africa today. If you are living in an area that does not have a Women in Agile local community, we would love to help you get one started. Mercy is serving as our executive sponsor for the Seeding Local Communities program. And her and the team of volunteers there will be happy to get you everything you need and support you through that journey of starting a new local community right here in Africa. But one of the cool things that happened because of COVID is that a lot of our local communities are still operating all virtually, just like this conference is virtual. So just because there might not be a group in your local geography, that doesn't mean you couldn't join one of the other groups virtually when they're hosting a virtual event. And the quickest way to find all of that information is we just have gone through an upgrade to Meetup Pro, which is a little bit of, at least what in the US we would call inside baseball or behind closed doors details. But it really is important for you all because what it allows you to do is look for Women in Agile directly on the meetup.com website, find our landing page where you'll see this exact map and a list of all the events happening across all of our local communities. So it really does get you that opportunity to get involved like, oh, I've always wanted to hear so-and-so speak, and they're speaking at this group's virtual event. You can log in and participate in that. So we're really excited about those changes that have been coming with our local communities program and the opportunities that it has for the networking and everything there. Sadly, we just missed a scholarship window. So we announced our Cycle 2 2023 scholarship winners in September, but you don't have to wait too long. Probably February-ish, early in 2024, we'll be opening Cycle 1 of 2024 for our scholarship program, sponsored by Scaled Agile, supported by Dean and Becky Leffingwell. There's two types of scholarships you can get. So kind of like a call for papers, there's a fixed window of time where you can apply for a scholarship, and then we select winners, and we do that twice a year. But there's two types of scholarship. There are financial awards, meaning I'm applying for a scholarship for $750 to take this PAL EBM course from Fanny because she's a PST, and I want to take Fanny's PAL EBM course. So like you're taking that money and you're getting to use that to pay for that registration. And then there's a type of scholarship that comes through our scholarship patrons. And those scholarship patrons are people who run their own training events, conferences, or other developmental programs, and they are giving to us free seats for us to give away as scholarships. So that's just another way to get involved. So keep your eyes open on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, the WIA newsletter. Make sure you're a subscriber to that, and you'll always get notifications of when these opportunities come up to get involved with. So that's Scholarship Podcast. We release episodes currently about every other week. Emily and Renee are our primary hosts, although I do get to host occasionally, but they are taking the brunt of that work these days. It's really about shining a spotlight on the talent and wisdom of all of the Global Women in Agile members. So if you're passionate about something and have got something you'd want to share through our podcast, you can always reach out to podcast@womeninagile.org, and we'll help work through that idea with you and make sure it's the right fit and get you booked to record an episode. But you can find us on Apple and Spotify and Stitcher and SoundCloud and all the places and all the things. If there's a podcast provider you like that we're not on, let us know that as well. And thank you to scrum.org again for being the supporter of that program. I do have a very fond spot in my heart for the podcast. In fact, we're just launching last month a new mini series on the podcast around the Agile Coaching Code of Ethical Conduct. So Agile Alliance over the past few years has had a Agile Coaching Code of Ethics initiative. And so if you didn't know that, you can go to the Agile Alliance website and find that Agile Coaching Code of Ethics. And this mini series on the podcast we're doing is spotlighting each of the commitments within that code of ethics, and giving you ideas of how to practice ethically and really just up your game in terms of professionalism as an Agilist. In fact, Mercy had referenced the work I've done with organization and relationship systems coaching, ORSC. I was talking to one of the co-founders of that, Faith Fuller, at one time when I was facing a little bit of an ethical dilemma of my own. And she goes, well, Leslie, what does the Agile Code of Ethics tell you? And I go, Faith, we have a manifesto, we have values, we have principles, but we don't have a code of ethics. She goes, then you're not a real profession. And that hurt. So while we do not have a complete overarching code of ethics for all of us as Agilists, at least those of us who are engaging in Agile coaching have a code of ethics we can look to help up our game and up our professionalism. So that's a little testimonial for that content there. The mentorship program sponsored by IC Agile. This also runs in a cycle fashion. So that's a kind of a common theme, right? Launching New Voices will run an application cycle to be a new voice for each event. The scholarship cycle runs a cycle for applications to become a scholarship winner. Our mentorship program runs a cycle to apply to be a mentee in the program. We've run 2 cycles of this so far since its inception. It's our newest program. And it's very, very specifically focused, at least under the current charter, around people earlier in their career getting paired with someone more senior within an Agile enterprise. And this is really important because not everyone wants to be a career trainer or a career consultant. And I come from a consulting background, even though I started as a leader in an organization leveraging Agile practices and Agile ways of working. I ended up building most of my career around being a consultant that helps other organizations do Agile well. That doesn't necessarily suit me for being a good mentor to a younger person in a bank who doesn't want to be the consultant. They want to grow their career there. It's different stuff to think about. So we really focused our mentorship program in this area initially, although we do have funding for this next year to expand the program around mentorship in emerging markets and for new Agilists that are trying to get into this area of working. So keep your eyes open if you're seeking a mentor. We'll be opening another cycle of this program sometime in the next 4 to 5 months, I believe. Mercy serves as executive sponsor for that program as well, so she might have more of those details at her fingertips. But we're delighted to have added this program to our portfolio here within the last 24 months. So I know that's a lot. It's been a big, giant dump of information really quickly. You can find all of this on womeninagile.org. If you're not actually a member yet, although by registering for the Women in Agile Africa conference, you opted into becoming a WIA member, so we'll make sure you're in our database. But you can always pass this link along to your friends. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Although we aren't as active on Instagram as we probably should be, LinkedIn is really the place to get connected. And if you're interested in volunteering in one of our impact programs, absolutely do that. Submit the web form. We would love to talk to you. In addition to those 6 impact programs, we have foundational business operations volunteer teams around marketing and communications, sponsorship and fundraising, and volunteer management. So these 6 impact programs are not the only way to get involved. You have other ways to get involved as well. So thank you for giving me a chance to come join you and just talk to you about what Women in Agile Org is, how we serve you all as members of our organization, and create awareness of ways that you can get involved. I'm happy to stick around and do some Q&A around, any and all things related to WIA or maybe scrum.org or whatever you just might be interested in asking me about.
I think one thing that we have discovered during today is that we have a very, very shy community. So they're usually very, very shy on this place, but I'm seeing someone that's putting a big shout out. So please, guys, try to be a little bit encourage us for this. Don't hesitate to ask your question. We are all here for you to answer all your questions. And yeah.
I've dropped the link, everyone, to join the community. So click on that link so you can be abreast with what happens with Women in Agile. You'll be on the newsletter with regards to sponsorship, with regards to scholarship, I beg your pardon, not sponsorship, because that we are a non-profit. Scholarship opportunities, mentoring opportunities. There are a lot of Agilists trying to get into this ecosystem, but they're new, they don't know what to do. And that's what mentoring is here to do for them. Hello, Mr. Kitara. That's what mentoring is here to do for you. And besides that, okay, thank you, Makuba. If you are in Africa or you are in Nigeria, any state that you are, and you want to start a Women in Agile meetup, we want to try to midwife and support you through the process. From Women in Agile Africa. But all you need to do is just go on the website. I'm going to drop the website again, is womeninagile.org. Just submit the application and apply to start your own community, and you'll be supported. They don't give you funding. Let me tell you, the brand that has done this for like 10 years, it gives you the easiest access to the Agile community. By doing what we have done for the last 2 years, he has opened us up to opportunities that would have taken us a longer period to actually get sorted. So you'd like to start up Women in Agile group, even if it's just 10 people that meet. Minimum requirement for meetup is once a quarter. You can do that. And if you have any question for Leslie, please ask before we go to the last session for tonight, which is Liz Morris. Liz Morris is the first Black woman to become a certified Scrum trainer. And it's faith that brought us together. You don't want to miss a session. That's the last session, a Q&A session that you would listen to. Do we have any question for my boss? She doesn't like me.
Don't call me that. Don't call me that.
She doesn't like me calling her my boss. But she is just a phenomenal woman that I see her work. You want to just emulate. And that's learning by doing and not learning by saying. So you want to join the community, please click on the link and join. It will direct you to join the Slack channel. And I'll still send another message to everyone to join the community for women in Agile after tomorrow. But the goal is we have to continue with the awareness. It doesn't matter the circle that you have. It starts with you. Change begins with you. You don't force change to happen to people. You make that change happen. You're the mirror people want to see. Do we have any questions for the last time? Anybody with questions?
I think something that we can share also, Leslie, is that we have an answer that I really like in the chat. That is from Ariana Kono. She's saying that she's impressed, not shy, right?
Yes.
So it's not that she doesn't want to change, but she's really impressed. And I wanted to highlight it there because I think it's the sentiment of a lot of people over this call. So yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it has. I'll just leave you all with the one thing is like, there is a lot of information on the Women in Agile website. If you can't find what you're looking for and you just need help, email info@womeninagile.org. We'll connect you with the right person. It might take us 2 or 3 days to get back to you, but I promise someone will get back to you. And then if you work for an organization who might be interested in sponsoring, that's normally through financial contributions that help us bring our programs to life. You can email that or reach out to me directly as well. But thank you for all of the amazing work to put this together. Lizzie, it's good to see your face. I hope you enjoy your session and have a wonderful day too. And if y'all ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
So now I'm going to start.